Hello everyone and welcome back. My name is Shaunneka and today we are going to do a full body Yin Yoga class. So if you have 2 blocks handy, you can go ahead and grab that. Let me grab my 2 blocks just in case that you decide to use them. Keep them close by. If you don't have blocks, you can always use books or a pillow. So we're going to go ahead and start in a seated position. So go ahead and bring your shins to cross. But unlike when you're sitting naturally cross-legged on the floor, today we're going to do something a little bit different. So you're going to bring your shins so that they're parallel, and then maybe walk your feet closer to the top of the mat and bring your feet maybe just about the width of your mat or close to. Let's go ahead and take a nice big inhale, reach arms up, and exhale, fold forward. So something that I like to do is I like to snuggle my elbows down onto the floor by my ankle and then just let the head drop. Nice deep breaths. Should be feeling a nice opening through the outer hips and along the spine. Last few breaths in this pose. Nice deep breaths. Let's take our last 2 breaths here. Nice big inhale. And a nice side of the mouth. One more inhale. And exhale. Gently lift the gaze. Walk your hands back up. Now let's go ahead from here, uncross the shins. Just bring the soles of the feet to the floor. Bring your hands behind you. Just hanging out here for a moment. Let everything flush through before we come to the other side. Very gently, maybe you would like to windshield wiper the knees from side to side. And we'll go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. So go ahead and take the opposite shin in front this time. You're going to walk your shins, bring your shins parallel, then walk your feet closer to the top of your mat, and then to the width, or just about the width of the mat. Take a nice big inhale. Should feel slightly awkward. Inhale. And then exhale, fold forward. Again, I like to snuggle my elbows in by my knee, my ankle, and then just let the head drop. So really taking that breath into the back body. Nice expansive breath. Noticing if you're tensing any areas. Notice if you're clenching the jaw. Last few breaths on this side.
take our last 2 breaths. Nice big inhale. Side out. One more inhale. And exhale. Lift the gaze and walk yourself all the way back up. Ooh. Bring your hands behind you. Bend the knees. You can stay here. Something that I like to do, I like to wrap my arms around my knees and just rock from side to side. Let's go ahead from here and come into our next posture. We'll be coming into a child's pose. So let's go ahead. From a tabletop position, you're going to bring your knees wide as is comfortable for you. Make sure your big toes are touching at the back. Your toenails are pressing into the mat, and you're sending your hips back into the saddle that you've created with your heels. Walk your hands out in front of you and bring your forehead to the mat. Always coming back to the breath. You find that the mind is wandering, it's always nice to say to yourself on the inhale, breathing in, and on the exhale, you say to yourself, breathing out. Sounds simple, but it's an easy and a nice way to still the mind. Notice if you're gripping the inner thighs or the groin. Last few breaths here. Really thinking about filling up with breath all the way from the pelvis. Breathe in. All the way up, all the way up, all the way up into the chest, just underneath the armpits. And exhale. Trying to do this on your inhales. Last 2 breaths. Nice big inhale. And side out. One more inhale. And exhale. Lift the gaze. Walk the hands back in. Rock forward, find that tabletop position. Tuck your toes. Pick up the knees. Draw them closed. From here, we're going to come into a counter posture. So a closed-legged child's pose. Sit back onto your heels. Toenails press into the mat. Sit back onto your heels. Belly drapes over your thighs. Big toes are touching. Knees are touching. Stack fists, stack palms, and find some stillness. And let's sit ourselves up and prep for our next posture. So up next, we will be making our way into a melting heart, or sort of like a chest opener, help opening up through the upper back and through the shoulders. So you may or may not decide to use a block, so just have one handy, just in case. So find your tabletop position, but before we get there, maybe you want to stretch out the legs. Alright, so go ahead and find yourself in that tabletop position. From your tabletop position, shoulders and knees. Knees are in line with the hips, shoulders in line with the wrists. You can bring your big toes to touch if this makes it more comfortable. You are going to walk your hands out as far as you can, and then you are going to melt your chest and your shoulders to the floor. So you're going to stay there. If you like, you can always place a block underneath your belly to help bring the floor closer to you. If you notice that maybe your arms are starting to tingle, go ahead and open them up wider into more of a V shape. Last few breaths here. Last two breaths. Nice big inhale. Sigh it out. One more. Push into your palms. Strain the arms. And just come to lay all the way on to your belly. Whew. Stack palm on palm. Let the forehead rest. Maybe you shimmy your hips from side to side before finding a moment of stillness. Let's go ahead and bend the knees. Very gently just windshield wiper them from side to side. So from here we'll be making our way into a shoulder and a neck stretch. So let's go ahead. I will start on this side so that you can see. You're going to bring your right arm and goalpost your arm. So your elbow is in line with your shoulder, and spread your fingertips nice and wide. You're going to bring your right temple to the floor. You're going to take your left hand, point the elbow towards the ceiling, and push your hand into the floor. Bend your left knee, and you're going to roll right onto your right side. You can stack your knees one on top of the other, or with that left knee behind your right, bend the knee and point it towards the ceiling. So I prefer to just stack my knees using my left hand as leverage, spidering my fingertips and pushing away. So if this is uncomfortable on the neck, maybe you find that you're cranking the neck, you can grab your block, place it underneath your ear, underneath your temple. If you have a towel or a pillow, you can do the same thing. Nice deep breaths. So we won't be here for as long as it's a smaller joint, smaller area that we're working with. But always remembering to come back to the breath. Another technique that I like to use when I'm in postures such as these is 4-part breath. So simply breathing in for a count of 4, hold for a count of 4, and exhale for a count of 4. Just repeating it like this. The last few breaths on this side. Let's go ahead and take our last 2 breaths. Nice big inhale. And sigh it out. One more inhale. And exhale. So if you have the knee bent behind you, go ahead and drop the knee. Roll back onto your belly, chest. You can bring your arms beside you, bringing one cheek to the floor before we come to the other side. And let's prep ourselves for the other side. So you're going to goalpost your left arm this time. Bring your left temple to the floor. Bend your knees. And spider your right fingertips in front of you and push away gently. And again, if you need a prop underneath the head, you can place your towel, probably a softer block, probably not a cork block. Pillow if you have it. Your last few breaths on this side. Last 2 breaths. Nice big inhale. And sigh it out. Again, inhale. And exhale. So, taking your hand, bring it beside you. Straighten those legs. Roll back onto your belly. Bring your hands down beside you. Bring your cheek to the floor. going to lift our gaze, put your hands beside you. You're going to push yourself all the way back up. So from here, we will be making our way into a position called, or a pose called frog's pose, or frog. So you will need a block if you decide to use it, and place it just at the top so you don't have to go and get it. So from a tabletop position, you want to open up your knees as wide as they can go for you, but as comfortable as you can be with your knees as wide as you have them. You want to make sure you're not leaning or you're not bringing the torso forward. You want to stack your hips so that they're in line with your knee. And then your knee and your toes should be pointing in the same direction. You're then going to come down onto your forearms. And you're using your forearms as leverage to help energetically or isometrically. You're thinking about pushing your bum towards the back of the room. So it's not going to move very much, but that's the intention. And then you can always place the block underneath your belly. And then use your hands like this so you have something to rest your belly on. Or you could place your forehead on the block. Nice deep breaths. Just make sure in this pose you're not sinking in the belly and sinking in the shoulder girdle. There is a little bit of pressure in the elbows. Notice if you're clenching your jaw, or if you're gripping in a pose such as this one. We have the tendency to grip. So really notice if that's what you're doing. And you may notice, as mine are doing, your knees are just naturally going to open up for you. And what was once sensational may not be anymore. It's like you're passing through different layers, and as you come to new layers, different areas of tension arise. Nice deep breaths. Always remember to send your hips back. Into our last few breaths. the moment you've all been waiting for. Last 2 breaths. Nice big inhale. And sigh it out. One more inhale. And exhale. Go ahead and bring your right hand by your right hip. Roll or lean forward, coming onto your belly. Oh. So you can leave your legs wide and stack palm on palm and let the forehead rest. And in your own time, when you're ready, you can shimmy your legs closed and maybe rock the hips from side to side. Bending the knees and gently windshield wipering the feet from side to side. From here, we're just going to roll onto our backs. Bring your feet as wide as your mat and let your knees knock in. Just allowing the spine to reset. We'll go ahead and just open up the hip flexors a little bit. So with the feet as wide as the mat, drop both knees to the right. Feel a nice opening through the left hip flexor. Won't be here for too long, but enjoying it. Come back through center, and same thing, keep feet as wide as the mat, and drop your knees to the opposite side this time. Go ahead and bring both knees back up. Draw your knees in towards your chest. Rock from side to side. Drop your knees to one side, to the other side. Curl up into a nice tight ball. Wrap your arms around your knees or grab onto your feet. Squeezing here for 3, 2. Nice big inhale. And exhale, release into your shavasana. Ooh. Really enjoying all the benefits of your practice. Those nice tingly sensations pulsating through the body.
always, you can feel free to stay here for as long as you like, or otherwise slowly wiggling the fingers and the toes, rotating the ankles and the wrists. Reach the arms up overhead, nice long body stretch, reach, reach, reach. And on the exhale, just allow everything to drop heavy. Rolling over or bending the knees, rolling over onto your side, and making your way to a seat. So with your eyes closed, let's just take a nice big inhale here. Open the mouth and sigh it out. I hope you enjoyed this full body Yin Yoga class. I put out videos every Wednesday, and I would appreciate if you like the video to like it, subscribe, and share it with all of your friends, your family, anyone who you think this content will resonate with. And as always, I hope you have a wonderful morning, noon, night, whenever it is that you decided to watch this video.